General Greene here, islandproject.com. I hope this message comes through the light and the spirit of the one true King, Jesus Christ. Love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and share. Today I have a bombshell report that is not being reported by the mainstream media at all. Case in point, the biggest stories in the world are buried by CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. They don't want you to know that the US dollar has now officially ended. In Saudi Arabia, one of the United States' strongest, once allies, trading partners that set the standard of the petrodollar reserve, has now revoked and ended the U.S. relationship in the Middle East. Keep in mind how significant this is. This is the sole reason for all of the wars fought in recent decades in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. Harkens back to Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi. The list goes on and on. Much of the Middle East strategy has revolved around this Saudi Arabian allied relationship, protecting U.S. dollar supremacy so that, of course, the United States could enjoy the fruits of its labor and essentially global domination over the East. This includes the BRICS nations like Russia, India, China, that are now rising and threatening the once greatest superpower and country, the United States of America. Let's dig into this, but please share, like, get it out to your friends and family. This is a significant update, and it is live here, June 10th, 2024. The financial world is bracing for a significant impact following Saudi Arabia's decision not to renew its 50-year-long petrodollar deal with the United States, which officially expired yesterday, Sunday the 9th, June 2024. Now, I want you to think about this, how this is really a turning point. You've heard things like the fourth turning or a new chapter or a new epic in U.S. history. I believe just happened. This lapse security agreement signed by the United States and Saudi Arabia on the 8th of June in 1974. This is, of course, after the U.S. government went off the gold standard and then created an inflationary reserve currency called the petrodollar. This establishes, or once did, two joint commissions, one on economic cooperation and the other on Saudi Arabia's military needs, and was said to have heralded an era of increasingly close cooperation between the two countries. American officials at the time expressed optimism that the deal would motivate Saudi Arabia to ramp up its oil production, control pricing, and they also envisioned it as a blueprint for fostering economic collaboration between Washington, D.C. and other Arab countries. So this is critical. This is absolutely crucial, not just for every single American tuning in, but all of you that have a pension, all of you that have savings in a bank, all of you that are depending on Medicare, Social Security, government programs, because this will de-dollarize, something I've been talking about for almost near 2 decades now, de-dollarize the actual worth of the currency that's declining in your pockets, that's denominated in the base currency, which makes up USD. Again, I've stressed this point for some time. It's not that housing prices are going up. It's not that gold or silver or commodities or oil is increasing in value. No, it's actually the contrary. It's the base currency that it's priced in that's collapsing. We've seen this in other lesser nations, nothing against these nations, but lesser economic nations where they've had trouble with their currency. We've seen this in Mexico, for example, with the peso continued to be devalued. We saw this in Zimbabwe with their hyperinflationary collapse, the Argentine peso collapsing, still having problems even after the election of their new president. But now it's not foreign nation states, it's the USA that is in full USD collapse. This is very significant, not only because the U.S. decoupled itself as a gold-backed currency in 1972, but now that the BRICS countries, nations that are threatening dollar supremacy, threatening attacks on Taiwan, threatening to take over the semiconductor trade, positioning themselves with other nation states outside of U.S. supremacy, not to mention global conflicts in Israel, Gaza, Rafah, now Iran, which is a part of that arsenal of the BRICS, are now moving towards cross-border transactions, new payment gateways, and systems. So what will the impact be geopolitically for currency trade? Well, this means that Saudi Arabia no longer has to settle oil in USD. You said they had a contract with the United States backed by the full military might of the world's biggest war-mongering industrial superpower, which is the USA. And now instead of settling in USD, they can settle in Bitcoin, they can settle in Japanese yen, they can settle in Chinese yuan renminbi, they could settle in North Korean currency or any other currency for that matter, Iranian currency. They no longer have to settle in USD. So I want you to think about the impact of what this will have on your savings, your bank accounts, your retirement accounts, housing, which is not going down. I told you it would only go up. There was a new CNBC article today, only going up even with interest rates higher, even with a little bit more inventory, because the USD is debased, prices of real assets continue to skyrocket. Now, this move is massive as Saudi Arabia and other BRICS countries position for what is known as their CBDC equivalent, central bank digital currency, and how they're going to participate with commercial banks worldwide. Of course, they are building this project mBridge, which is built on a distributed ledger technology, otherwise known as a DLT, something I've been teaching about, of course, now for almost a decade since the invention of Bitcoin when I first recommended it under 1,000. The project has more than 26 observing members, including the South African Reserve Bank, which was green-lighted as a member this month. The better-known observing members of mBridge, this is their CBDC transactional state-to-state settlement technology, includes the Bank of Israel, isn't that interesting? Bank of Namibia, France, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, the ECB, which we've seen them just begin to start cutting rates, creating more hyperinflation, debasing the currency further of the failed currency, that is the euro and USD, the IMF, the Bank of New York, the Bank of Australia, and the World Bank. We also see countries like Thailand move this direction along with the UAE. So what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a rapid debasement of the once protected US dollar hegemonic currency. This is the end of a nation state, many would argue, because we no longer have a currency that's being protected by Western allies. Now that Saudi Arabia is posturing and pivoting against and away from the US dollar, away from the strength of US politicians in Washington, D.C., and away pivoting from the Biden administration. Hopefully, Trump could repair this, or any new president could repair this standard, will have grave ramifications and an impact to the bottom line, again, of everything that is priced, which the United States has had pricing power for years, but no longer does. What do you do in this environment? What are the solutions? The solutions are what I've been talking about for years now, having since gone live July 2022. We just closed on a brand new property, our biggest acquisition yet, $5.95 million deployed in Park City, Deer Valley, Utah, as a part of our $33.5 million, 100% equity owned by you investment portfolio. Click the link below to learn more, deploy your capital, get into real assets that are not being debased by what I'm reporting on today. This is also why we've seen the meme craze, GameStop stock, all that options activity in recent days, because Americans realize there really is no hope left in the economic financial system, that you've got to get out. And so people are placing their bets in other areas to compete with inflation and the collapse of a once standardized currency in the name of the petrodollar. Where do you want to be? Real assets. What's the best cash flow producing real asset in the world? Real estate. What's the best real estate? Beach and oceanfront and ski lodges. Diversified, decentralized, and soon to be tokenized on a multi-billion-dollar blockchain. The Rolex and the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, so to speak, of real true ownership. Also, I'll be traveling worldwide along with our team, Papa John, etc., as we diversify internationally, seeking refuge from a collapsing USD. Again, if you know the petrodollar has ended, our contract has not been renewed with Saudi Arabia. More banks are collapsing by the day, a part of the FDIC failed bank list. There's over $500 billion, arguably more, in new unrealized losses we're seeing in some regionals. Now, what do? Well, you get your money out of the banks while you still can before the inevitable happens. Debasement of currency never ends well. We saw this in Rome with the clippage of their coins, and now we see this with the clippage of the US dollar. The revocation of our once standardized supreme contracts with other allied nation states like Saudi Arabia, not to mention war spending, record debt that can only be transitioned and reset into new technologies. What are these new technologies? Tokenized real assets. They're things like Bitcoin, the number one best performing asset in the world every single year since its invention. It's outperformed hedge funds. It's outperformed private equity. It's made many of my members rich. Again, it's new technology. It's new systems. It's new community organized projects like ours that will thrive, survive, pivot, leverage, profit, and dominate in a very disruptive environment like what we're reporting on today. Also, in a little just fun, good news, it was great. I got to spend some real good quality time with family this weekend, and I encourage you to get off your cell phones, even with all the craziness of the world right now. Get the information you need, this core information, of course, but get some downtime, turn things off. I went sailing with my father, Papa John, the whole team, my family, my kids. It was just a blast. It was so great just to remove ourselves from all the hard work we're doing on a daily basis, as I know all of you work really hard as well. Get out there on the sea, enjoy swimming with sea turtles. I might even run some footage here just to show you. It's so important to go out and live your life. Live boldly for Christ. Live boldly with joy and happiness and vigor and passion, things I'm telling you about on a daily basis, and then become part of the solution. There's so many problems right now in our culture, in the economy, with family values, with all the things that we're peppered with, especially new technology. It's important to unplug from that, get back to what really matters, be steadfast in prayer, ask for discernment from God, and then go out in a solution-oriented manner. Join like forces and improve your life, because there's always opportunity in disruption, and this isn't the first time we've seen major disruption. World War I, World War II, the industrial age. We saw that even before then with the rise and fall of nation states, of civilization superpowers that rose and then went to dust. And it's not going to be any different this time. Again, this is all God's plan. We must have some humble humility, so to speak, in knowing this. This is all a part of really the red carpet rollout of the imminent return of our King. So it's such an honor to serve all you guys. Please like and share this breaking report that the mainstream media is not going to tell you about. But more importantly, take aggressive action now. Deploy into your first 30 units into islandproject.com. Call my dad at 808-442-2934 while you still can. Enroll over those retirement accounts and find out how you can be a part of our world-class equity ownership portfolio of the best real estate in the world. Once you deploy, even just your first 30 units, 100, 250, 500, we have some members at 1,000 units and more, you become a proud owner of beachfront in Maui, Oahu, Waikiki, Kapalua, and now Deer Valley with ski-in and ski-out access and some use. You get paid cash flows every single year, plus you receive our token launch, our 1000X opportunity, which is going to be a multi-billion-dollar liquidity event only for our sole members that got in early. The early bird gets the worm, just like if you're out fishing, as I was doing, sailing with my beautiful family this weekend. Be motivated, get out early in earnest, take aggressive action, realize you can do it. You are in charge of improving your life, and ask for God to help you along the journey. And I'm certainly here to help, along with myself and my amazing team. Links below. Want to hear what you think. Comment question in the box below. And please like and share this video, because it's now officially, this happened yesterday, the end of the U.S. petrodollar reserve. Finished. So what do you think is going to happen next? More hyperinflation. Real assets will continue to skyrocket. They will be debased by every fiat currency worldwide, especially Bitcoin. In fact, if you price housing in Bitcoin, the prices of home ownership are actually declining, which is why you want to own new technology like the digital Noah's Ark. Links below. God bless. I should take advantage of the opportunity today. Those are freaking us, baby! Motherfucker.com! Those are freaking gonna get it! Those are freaking it! Jesus Christ is good!